He lied, and then he lied some more. Joe Biden is trying to take a victory lap with Afghanistan by blaming Trump, who Biden says forced him to leave Afghanistan, while at the same time claiming it's all his idea. Square that circle, Joe. August 31st has come and gone, and so have Joe Biden's brainwaves signifying function.
I respectfully suggest you ask yourself this question. If we'd been attacked on September 11, 2001, from Yemen instead of Afghanistan, would we have ever gone to war in Afghanistan?
No, because we would have gone to Yemen. Biden is certainly no iron fist, just a limp wrist. But he's so proud of himself for what he just did in Afghanistan, and he's humble about it.
I give you my word with all of my heart. I believe this is the right decision, a wise decision, and the best decision for America.
Okay, I just have a couple of questions about that, Mr. President.
President Biden, the warning to the Taliban.
All right, let's get into it with this shameful man who did not give an address when American presidents actually ended in Afghanistan. He sent a note instead because it was nap time and his military leaders had to get shellacked with the shame. But then Biden scheduled an afternoon address to which he was more than an hour late because his favorite episode of Murder, She Wrote was on. Now here's how it began. The address, not the episode of Murder, She Wrote.
Last night in Kabul, the United States ended 20 years of war in Afghanistan, the longest war in American history. We completed one of the biggest airlifts in history, with more than 120,000 people evacuated to safety. That number is more than double what most experts thought were possible. No nation has ever done anything like it in all of history.
No nation has done a lot of the horrible things you were touting either. I won't get into it here, but you should check out the other video I released detailing how Biden simply doesn't have time to get Americans out, to talk about Afghanistan, to care about pretty much anything involving American lives, especially those who just sacrificed theirs. What I'm going to do in this video is simply show you Biden in his own lies and political nonsense from the speech he gave on the deadline day of leaving Afghanistan, such as this.
The fundamental obligation of a president, in my opinion, is to defend and protect America. Not against threats of 2001, but against the threats of 2021 and tomorrow. That is the guiding principle behind my decisions about Afghanistan. I simply do not believe that the safety and security of America is enhanced by continuing to deploy thousands of American troops and spending billions of dollars a year in Afghanistan.
Which brings us to today's question. Which assertion or lie of Biden's will ultimately hurt us most? Let me know in the comments below. And then please make sure you share this video so others can see the lies too. Like this one from the creepy, quiet, bumbling Joe.
The bottom line is there is no evacuation from the end of a war that you can run without the kinds of complexities, challenges, and threats we faced. None.
You can probably guess, but this isn't the first pathetic victory lap Biden's taken. It's just the most recent. He's done this plenty of times before because he's been a politician for 40 years. What a pathetic fake little jog. Now, since some of us can remember things, note that during the fall of Saigon, Biden was a senator. During the attack in Benghazi, Biden was the vice president. During the fall of Kabul, he's the president of the United States of America.
In April, I made a decision to end this war. As part of that decision, we set the date of August 31st for American troops to withdraw. The assumption was that more than 300,000 Afghan national security forces that we had trained over the past 2 decades and equipped would be a strong adversary in their civil wars with the Taliban.
You know what happens when you assume, Joe? You make an ass out of you and me. I want to point something out. Did you hear at the beginning of that statement that he made the decision back in April to leave at the end of August? Joe made the decision.
I take responsibility for the decision.
Okay, I heard you the first time. You are taking responsibility for what just happened in Afghanistan. And you don't need the haters trying to hate on you because you were ready.
Now some say we should have started mass evacuation sooner. And couldn't this have been done in a more orderly manner? I respectfully disagree. We were ready when they and the people of Afghanistan watched their own government collapse and the president flee amid the corruption and malfeasance, handing over the country to their enemy, the Taliban, and significantly increasing the risk to U.S. personnel and our allies.
If we were so ready, then why are you complaining about Trump multiple times in this speech?
So we're left with a simple decision. Either follow through on the commitment made by the last administration and leave Afghanistan, or say we weren't leaving and commit another tens of thousands more troops going back to war. That was the choice, the real choice, between leaving or escalating.
Those are the only two choices you had. There was no in between. We say there are two genders and get banned from life, but apparently we have but two choices in this situation. It's the ultimatum of marry me now or we're breaking up right now. And Biden followed it up with an immediate, we're breaking up.
I was not going to extend this forever war. And I was not extending a forever exit.
So it's not forever. Got it. Which also means that Biden left Americans behind. And remember when he told George Stephanopoulos, not even 2 weeks ago, that he wasn't going to do that?
And are you committed to making sure that the troops stay until every American who wants to be out is out?
Yes.
How about our Afghan allies? Does the commitment hold for them as well?
The commitment holds to get everyone out that, in fact, we can get out and everyone should come out. And that's the objective. That's what we're doing now. That's the path we're on. And I think we'll get there.
So Americans should understand that troops might have to be there beyond August 31st.
No, Americans should understand that we're going to try to get it done before August 31st.
But if we don't, the troops will stay.
If we don't, we'll determine at the time who's left.
And
if there are American forces, if there's American citizens left, we're going to stay till we get them all out.
And you can say it another way, in Jen Psaki language.
Most of the criticism is not of leaving Afghanistan, it's the way that he has ordered it to happen by pulling the troops before getting these Americans who are now stranded. Does he have a sense of that?
First of all, I think it's irresponsible to say Americans are stranded. They are not. We are committed to bringing Americans who want to come home. We are in touch with them via phone, via text, via email, via any way that we can possibly reach Americans to get them home if they want to return home.
There are no Americans stranded is the White House's official position on what's happening in Afghanistan right now.
I'm just calling you out for saying that we are stranding Americans in Afghanistan when we have been very clear that we are not leaving Americans who want to return home. We are going to bring them home. And I think that's important for the American public to hear and understand.
Okay.
But now, leaving behind Americans is viewed as victory.
Now we believe that about 100 to 200 Americans remain in Afghanistan with some intention to leave. Most of those who remain are dual citizens, longtime residents who had earlier decided to stay because of their family roots in Afghanistan. The bottom line, 90% of Americans in Afghanistan who wanted to leave were able to leave.
What about the other 10% who wanted to leave? 1 in 10 people were left behind. And they believe that 100 to 200 people remain. But really, they have no clue, meaning nothing new with Biden.
And for those remaining Americans, there is no deadline. We remain committed to get them out if they want to come out.
This isn't like they want to come out and play, but Biden appears to think it's just the same thing. And to the bullies on the playground, you know, the Taliban, well, there are some strong words for them.
In fact, just yesterday, The United Nations Security Council passed a resolution that sent a clear message about what the international community expects the Taliban to deliver on moving forward, notably freedom of travel, freedom to leave.
Ooh. I'm sure the Taliban is shaking in the boots that we left behind, while wearing the night vision goggles that we left behind, while sitting in the planes, trucks, and helicopters that we left behind, while holding the assault rifles that we left behind. Yes, the Taliban will keep its word. Fingers crossed.
We don't take them by their word alone, but by their actions.
So, hanging dead bodies from our Blackhawks that were left behind. Beating, raping, and killing women because, well, they're women. And holding newscasters at gunpoint to ensure they provide the message that the Taliban is not to be feared. Those are actions, but don't take my word for it. Take the words of Biden to heart.
To those who wish America harm, to those who engage in terrorism against us or our allies, know this: the United States will never rest. We will not forgive. We will not forget. We'll hunt you down to the ends of the earth, and you will pay the ultimate price.
You literally just left the place that you needed to go to hunt those people you are talking about. You just said you wouldn't forget. But again, he says,
my fellow Americans, the war in Afghanistan is now over.
I've prayed, and I will continue to pray, that the following words do not serve as a prophecy.
To those asking for a third decade of war in Afghanistan, I ask, what is the vital national interest? In my view, we only have one: to make sure Afghanistan can never be used again to launch an attack on our homeland.
That sounds like a pretty damn good reason to keep some sort of presence in Afghanistan. I'm not asking for a third decade of war, and I don't know of anyone who is asking for a third decade of war. I think we were all just asking for a leader to lead and to make decisions that are for the good of the people, not just because Orange Man bad and political claptrap. We have a president of the United States in name only because he's too busy taking victory laps for victories he hasn't earned. Please don't forget to share this video. Until next time, stay healthy, America.